It's one thing to win, but let's do it properly and let the people really have a voice. The people's voice was taken today.
People were getting let in at the proper time. We had a caucus. And the people voted for us slated candidates.
Get ready for a story more dramatic than a soap opera. Welcome to Dalton, Illinois, a small town of just over 200 residents, where Mayor Tiffany Henyard has become the center of controversy. Henyard, who also serves as supervisor of Thornton Township, claims to be a leader for the people. However, critics argue that she's been prioritizing herself, traveling first class, staying in upscale hotels, and allegedly misusing public funds. As the FBI investigates, the pressure mounts, and questions arise. Is she guilty, or is this all part of a larger conspiracy to bring her down? The drama continues to unfold, and the fate of Mayor Henyard hangs in the balance.
If she wants to run for supervisor again, will have to be as a right.
Tiffany Henyard has become a controversial figure, known for her attention-grabbing displays and polarizing leadership. Her penchant for self-promotion has kept her in the spotlight, from flashy billboards featuring her image to music videos where she lip-syncs and marches with police officers. However, these spectacles only highlight deeper frustrations surrounding her time as mayor of Dalton and supervisor of Thornton Township. With a combined annual salary nearing $300,000, Henyard earns more than even the governor of Illinois. This high compensation stands in stark contrast to the financial struggles of the community she governs, where the median household income in Dalton is just $24,000. The disparity between Henyard's lavish earnings and the harsh realities faced by residents has fueled widespread discontent. Locals grapple with deteriorating infrastructure, inadequate public services, and limited opportunities, while perceiving Henyard as a leader disconnected from their struggles. Critics argue that her leadership embodies excess and self-indulgence, a far cry from the responsibility and accountability expected of her roles. While Henyard presents herself as a transformative political figure, many residents view her as a symbol of inequality and misplaced priorities. To them, taxpayer money seems to fund her personal aggrandizement, rather than addressing the urgent needs of the community. As frustration grows, Henyard's financial decisions and actions continue to draw scrutiny, amplifying calls for a change in leadership and less focused on personal gain.
The judge issued a temporary restraining order blocking her from making those appointments without approval.
Tiffany Henyard's dual roles as mayor of Dalton and supervisor of Thornton Township have ignited intense debates over her ability to effectively manage both positions. Critics argue that excelling in one leadership role is challenging enough, let alone juggling two demanding offices that require full focus and commitment. However, Henyard defends her dual responsibilities with confidence, claiming that her leadership is transforming the community and delivering tangible benefits. Known for her acts of financial assistance, she often steps in to pay residents' utility bills, return property taxes, or provide emergency relief to those in need. While supporters celebrate these acts as evidence of her compassion and dedication, others view them as calculated political maneuvers, designed to maintain favor and solidify her voter base. Allegations have also surfaced accusing Henyard of using taxpayer money to fund what appears to be a personal charity. For some, her efforts may seem noble, demonstrating her willingness to address immediate needs when traditional government assistance falls short. Yet, critics argue that using public funds in this manner could be illegal and represents a misuse of authority and taxpayer resources. This controversy underscores the divide in perception. To her supporters, Henyard is a selfless figure, a grassroots superhero who steps in where the government fails. To her detractors, she is a politician whose actions may skirt ethical boundaries, using public money for personal or political gain. The dichotomy between these views has only deepened skepticism about her leadership. As scrutiny grows over her financial practices, questions persist about whether her gestures of financial support, however well-intentioned, are a proper use of government funds or veiled campaign strategies. Critics also raise concerns about her ability to balance the demands of both high-pressure offices without compromising her duties. As Dalton and Thornton Township face pressing challenges that require undivided attention, these concerns are becoming more pronounced. The juxtaposition of Henyard's visible acts of kindness with the larger issues of governance, legality, and resource allocation fuels ongoing debates about whether she can provide the leadership these communities need. Ultimately, her high-profile moves, whether seen as altruistic gestures or self-serving tactics, have made her a polarizing figure. Her actions deepen both her support and her opposition. While her admirers remain steadfast, her critics grow louder in their calls for accountability and transparency. To her detractors, she represents a leader disconnected from the ethical foundations of her office, struggling under the weight of dual responsibilities and rising controversy.
There is a new legal battle brewing in Dalton between the mayor and some village trustees.
As Regina Waldrop explains, it has a lot to do with two meetings held early.
When the FBI began investigating Tiffany Henyard's financial dealings, her once resilient political career began to unravel in dramatic fashion. Federal agents reportedly launched a comprehensive probe into various aspects of her life, including personal expenditures, political campaign finances, and the operations of her charitable initiatives. Every financial move Henyard made came under intense scrutiny, with allegations suggesting a pattern of misappropriation that had long simmered beneath the surface. Investigators are said to be leaving no stone unturned, using electronic surveillance methods and conducting interviews with former employees and local business owners. Many of these individuals have alleged that Henyard abused her position for dishonest activities, further fueling the already growing scrutiny. Despite the mounting accusations, Henyard steadfastly claims her innocence, dismissing the investigation as a politically motivated smear campaign designed to derail her progress and undermine her influence. However, the evidence presented by critics paints a different picture. Rumors have circulated about her alleged misuse of township credit cards for personal luxuries such as first-class flights, expensive dinners at upscale restaurants, and stays at high-end hotels. Perhaps most shocking is the claim that Henyard spent a jaw-dropping $43,000 in a single day on Amazon purchases, critics argue, with little connection to her duties as a public servant. These accusations have provoked widespread public outrage, leaving many residents struggling to reconcile their faith in her leadership with the extravagant lifestyle suggested by these claims. This scandal has deeply polarized the community. Henyard's supporters view her as a victim of political sabotage, a strong leader unfairly targeted for daring to challenge the status quo. On the other hand, her detractors see her actions as emblematic of unchecked power and systemic corruption, with allegations of improper financial management serving as a stark betrayal of the trust placed in her. Each new revelation intensifies the debate, casting doubt not just on Henyard's governance, but also on the integrity of the political structures that enabled her rise. As federal agents dig deeper, examining records and securing testimonies, the stakes continue to grow higher for Henyard. Her ability to survive this storm depends not only on her legal defense, but also on her ability to convince a skeptical public that she is more than the sum of these damning allegations. The investigation has already cast a long shadow over Henyard's career, challenging her credibility and eroding the foundation of public trust that she has so heavily relied upon. However, another issue has emerged that further complicates her position: her use of public funds for her personal security. Henyard has defended her contentious use of taxpayer resources by claiming that her life is in danger, necessitating a security detail for her protection. This justification, however, has sparked intense scrutiny, particularly as allegations suggest her personal security expenses are draining Dalton's already fragile finances. The small town of Dalton, which has just 45 police officers, dedicates a significant portion of its personnel to providing round-the-clock protection for Henyard. Critics argue that this move depletes the town's public safety resources and leaves the broader community vulnerable to rising crime and delayed response times. Henyard remains defiant, pointing to union contracts as the basis for her security detail and citing a judge's ruling in her favor as validation. Yet this explanation has done little to quell public unease, as residents question what kind of threats a small-town mayor could possibly face that would justify such extensive and costly security measures. The issue escalated when reports revealed that officers assigned to Henyard's security detail were earning staggering amounts of overtime pay, leading to even greater public outrage. One officer reportedly received $114,000 in overtime compensation, while another exceeded $100,000 in additional pay, nearly tripling their base annual salaries of just over $87,000. These revelations were particularly bitter for Dalton residents, who were already grappling with economic struggles and an uncertain fiscal outlook. Critics argue that this lavish spending on Henyard's personal security underscores a gross misallocation of resources, especially in a town facing significant financial challenges. Residents openly question whether Henyard's claims of personal danger are credible, or if they serve as a convenient excuse to justify her high-profile, high-cost security measures. For many, the disparity between the resources allocated for Henyard's personal safety and the neglected needs of the town has become emblematic of her administration's priorities. The debate over Henyard's security expenses has only widened the rift between her supporters and detractors. Proponents of Henyard contend that her position as a high-profile political figure, coupled with increasing hostility and scrutiny, warrants extraordinary measures to ensure her safety. They point to incidents of heightened political violence nationwide as evidence that her concerns are not unfounded. On the other hand, critics argue that while security is a valid concern, the sheer scale of the expenditures in this case is excessive and unjustifiable, particularly for a community struggling to maintain basic services. Many residents believe that resources should be redirected to address the town's deteriorating infrastructure, underfunded schools, and lack of adequate public safety measures, instead of financing what they view as Henyard's personal fortress. The financial revelations surrounding her security detail have only compounded existing frustrations with Henyard's administration. These issues dovetail with broader allegations of fiscal mismanagement, including claims of improper use of public funds and questionable spending priorities. For a leader who has presented herself as a champion of the people, Henyard now finds herself embroiled in controversies that paint a very different picture. One of a mayor whose personal needs and political ambitions come at the expense of her community's well-being. The stark juxtaposition of her personal security expenses against the backdrop of Dalton's struggling economy has fueled public anger and diminished trust in her leadership. As tensions rise, Henyard has doubled down on her defense, portraying herself as the target of politically motivated attacks and framing her security measures as a non-negotiable necessity in light of credible threats. Yet for many residents, her explanations ring hollow, especially when juxtaposed with the visible economic struggles within their neighborhoods. The revelation of exorbitant overtime payments for police officers assigned to her detail has only added fuel to the fire, highlighting what critics describe as the excessive and unchecked nature of her administration's expenditures. This situation encapsulates the broader issues plaguing Henyard's leadership: questions of accountability, transparency, and fiscal responsibility, all of which have been called into question as public confidence continues to erode. For Henyard, the stakes could not be higher. The controversy surrounding her security detail represents not just another political skirmish, but a significant threat to her long-term viability as a leader for Dalton's residents. The matter goes beyond her personal claims of danger, raising deeper concerns about the town's priorities and the integrity of its governance. Ultimately, the way this issue was handled will likely determine whether Henyard can weather this storm, or if her tenure as mayor will end in scandal.
2 at 6, embattled Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard is mounting a re-election bid. Henyard made the announcement in a post on her Facebook.
Tiffany Henyard's time as mayor of Dalton has become a whirlwind of controversy, fueled by accusations, lawsuits, and public disputes. Her opponents on the village board have added fuel to the fire, accusing her of using her security detail to run personal errands. "We need officers patrolling the streets, not providing private courier services," one critic said. Former police chief Robert Collins, who was fired during Henyard's tenure, claimed that officers were sent to pick up food, drive her to private events, and run errands unrelated to official duties. Henyard has dismissed these allegations, calling them politically driven attacks. She insists that such claims are diversionary tactics, whom she accuses of being jealous and intimidated by her leadership. At a public gathering, Henyard stated that her critics were not angry about her security, but were uncomfortable with her success and popularity, claiming, "I make them uncomfortable because I'm doing what they couldn't." While Henyard's defiance earned applause from her supporters, it also caused division within the community. For the first time in decades, the township nominated candidates through a caucus rather than a primary election. Henyard's loss of her place on the Democratic ballot for Thornton Township Supervisor marked a turning point in the escalating drama. In 2017, Finn Laffer launched a secret ballot legal campaign. The process, led by State Senator Matt Harris, who also serves as the township's Democratic Committee chair, saw Harris eventually win the nomination. Henyard's slate of candidates was incomplete, lacking a certified assessor, preventing her from making it onto the ballot. In response, she expressed outrage, declaring, "I want to sue everyone involved," as she rushed out of the caucus, accusing those involved of breaking the law. Henyard alleged that Harris had manipulated the process to stifle voting and rigged the caucus against her. Videos from the event depict chaotic scenes, with people shouting and fighting to get inside, but many were turned away because the venue was already full. Henyard claimed that hundreds of her supporters were left standing outside in the cold, unable to enter. In retaliation, she has filed a lawsuit to contest the caucus results, arguing that it violated voters' rights. However, Harris and his team maintain that the process was fair and legal, dismissing Henyard's claims as unfounded. Henyard supporters, however, contend that Harris's allies were allowed inside first, leaving her followers shut out. Henyard herself declared, "They couldn't beat me, so they locked my people out." While Henyard is embroiled in these political battles, the chaos at Dalton's mayor's office is only escalating. The police department has been without a permanent chief for most of the year, and a judge recently rejected her choice for interim chief. Meanwhile, the village board trustees have been publicly at odds with her, with some even abandoning her during public meetings. One trustee even went as far as to say, "We're counting down the days until she leaves office." Despite this, Henyard remains unfazed, defiantly telling residents that whether they like it or not, she is their mayor. Henyard's leadership has long been under fire for her extravagant spending. She has been accused of living like a celebrity, flying first class and staying at upscale hotels, while Dalton struggles to make ends meet. Despite the scandals, Henyard maintains a devoted following of supporters who view her as a champion for the town. One local remarked, "It's amazing that she isn't in handcuffs." Another said, "The state of Chicago is a joke. They're doing nothing. Giving her a platform only serves to prolong her reign." But for all the controversy and drama surrounding her, Henyard's supporters argue that she has brought more attention to Dalton than any previous mayor, and that's something they appreciate. In the face of mounting allegations, public feuds, and widespread skepticism, Henyard continues to press forward. Whether her tenure in office will end with the resolution of these scandals or if the drama will spiral further remains to be seen. However, one thing is clear: Henyard has firmly positioned herself as a polarizing figure in Dalton's political landscape, with each new twist in the saga adding fuel to the fire.
Teasing a big announcement that she claims will result in some of her opponents being arrested and charged.
Tiffany Henyard is facing an intensifying storm of legal and political challenges that threaten to unravel her political career. Her mounting legal troubles include lawsuits from 3 former employees who claim they were dismissed for refusing to participate in corrupt practices. Local business owners have also accused Henyard of retaliating against them, alleging that she withheld licenses and permits from those who did not support her politically or financially. Adding to the controversy, the Dalton Park District has accused Henyard of issuing baseless fines and obstructing grants intended for essential park improvements. These allegations paint a troubling picture of a leader more focused on consolidating power than addressing the needs of her community. As an FBI investigation intensifies, scrutiny over Henyard's financial management grows, particularly concerning the millions she claims to have raised for Dalton. With the town's budget deficit continuing to grow, speculation is rampant that public funds may have been diverted to support Henyard's allegedly extravagant lifestyle. Henyard, however, counters these accusations by asserting that she is the victim of a politically motivated conspiracy, a claim that further divides public opinion. Complicating matters is Henyard's former ally Keith Freeman, who is now cooperating with the FBI and reportedly providing damaging information about her spending practices. Freeman, however, is facing his own legal troubles, including allegations of bankruptcy fraud, leading some to speculate that his cooperation is driven by a desire to mitigate his own issues. Despite the growing turmoil, Henyard remains defiant, continuing her campaign for re-election as Dalton's mayor. At a recent rally, she declared her unwavering confidence, telling her supporters, "Put some respect on my name," and asserting that her popularity throughout Thornton Township would lead to victory. Yet, as public trust in Henyard erodes, lawsuits pile up and federal scrutiny deepens. Her political future is uncertain. Residents and critics alike are questioning whether she can weather this storm or if these scandals will mark the end of her career. The situation has sparked broader concerns about local governance and the prevalence of corruption in politics. While some of Henyard's supporters argue she is being unfairly targeted, others view her as a symbol of everything that is wrong with local leadership. As the drama in Dalton continues to unfold, many are left pondering whether Henyard is a victim of a calculated political takedown or a corrupt official finally being held accountable. Whatever the outcome, one thing is clear: the situation has captured widespread attention and raised critical questions about the integrity of local politics and governance.